Yo, what's up guys? It's your boy Vert here again with another Archer video. I hope you guys had a wonderful holiday. The new year's coming up, and with the new year, it's looking like Archer is getting a huge wave of buffs. I'm super excited to share with you guys in this video, as well as the Black Spirit Rage skills. Let's get into it.
Light it up.
Alright guys, first things first, we're just going to hop right into the buffs that we're getting. Right now they're only on the global server. Hopefully they make it to live because these buffs look amazing. But honestly, I don't expect all of them to, because some of these are broken as hell. The first one we're going to get into is Righteous Smite. That's going to be your nuke. Usually put it on the hotbar. It can also be comboed into. This week they changed the arrow effect, so the visual of it is a little bit different. And they also made it so you can use it while moving if you use the quick slot. So if you're moving left to right, you'll be able to stop real quick, cast it. And as you can see, the wind up animation looks a little bit faster. You saw the arrow itself looks a little bit different. The travel speed, in my opinion, stayed the same, so not too much of a change there. But it'll just allow you to cast it a bit faster. Moving on, the next little change, Zephyr Leap will now recover mana when used in the Great Bow stance. So Zephyr Leap right here, as you can see, back to full mana. Just a small little change. It will be nice while grinding to keep that mana up. Next up in the patch notes, it says the following combos were improved to connect better: Radiant Explosion into Full Bloom. So that's going to be Shift L and B into Shift E right there. Makes it a little easier to cast. And then the next combo is Glide Forward into Spear. So that's a nice little super armor chain. You're just going to slide forward, Shift Q to connect your super armor a little smoother. Next up in the patch notes, Piercing Light. It says the speed of the starting motion was increased. So if you go S and E, you can see you wind up much faster. Fire it off. Looks pretty good. Flow Light's Trail, casting speed was increased when it's off cooldown. So it's gonna look like this. The skill actually fires off very fast now. Also for Light's Trail, the damage was decreased for when it's on cooldown. So more rewarding to cast it while it's off cooldown, less rewarding when it's on cooldown. Next up, we have a nice little buff to Light's Path. It's just going to be your RMB. The casting speed of the first hit was increased. So if we go into RMB, you can see as soon as you hit RMB, it's casting now. Nice little speed buff. You won't be stuck in the animation for as long. So that's a nice change. Next up, for Absolute Violent Kick, they added a -10 DP shred for 10 seconds on the target. Next up, they made it so your Shifty Earth Shatter combos much better with Meteor Dive and Glide. So that's going to look something like this. Just glide into Shift E. Nice little animation. We'll do it again with Meteor Dive. So Meteor Dive into Shift E. Honestly, that doesn't look too different from what it was before. But I don't know, maybe you guys noticed something that I don't. Alright guys, these are some huge changes to the class. It's going to make the mobility much better. Stamina consumption reduced on almost all the stamina consuming skills. For example, Glide went from 200 stamina down to 100. Ensnare, now instead of costing stamina at all, it costs MP. So this before was stamina, now it's just mana, much better. Zephyr Leap right here went from 400 stamina in pre-awaken to 200. The awakened Zephyr Leap went from 300 down to 200. Next up we have Wing Strike. Wing Strike stamina for Wing Strike 3 got reduced from 200 to 150, but it looks like Absolute Wing Strike is still 200. I'm not sure if this is something they intend on fixing. Maybe that they just accidentally missed it, but hopefully that gets fixed in the future. Another skill that was affected by this was Covering Fire. Again, they changed Covering Fire 5 from 200 to 150, but forgot to address the Absolute. So hopefully with Covering Fire and Wing Strike, they do reduce those down to 150, because even 50 stam per ability adds up in the long run when you're comboing. Your passive, Righteous Fire and Awakening, will now be applied when using Wing Strike in Crossbow. So you can see right there, it applies the debuff, and that's quite a nice change. Next up in the patch notes, they did some nice buffs to the Rabombs, which we'll cover real quick. They added a knockdown to both of the first slot Rabombs, as well as some good damage buffs. So these Rabombs, you know, compared to the video we released last week, are looking a lot more viable. Before, I don't think I would have used either in actual combat, but with the damage increase and the knockdown potential, these skills seem to be a lot more viable. Moving on to the second set of bombs. The first skill is going to have a float, super armor, air smash, and down smash now. The second one has a float for PvE only, but it does have the air attack and air smash, as well as the forward guard. So this one, to me, seems a bit better for PvP. This one is going to be a good PvE skill. Overall, I think I would stick with the first bomb. Another little change they did was where you can use Wing Strike, and after the first hit of Wing Strike, you can hit C to swap into, to swap weapons. So it looks something like that. You see Wing Strike and crossbow, hit C, you'll pull out the great bow. So another nice little swap. A nice buff that Archer got with this patch was the increased damage of piercing light. Before, the damage at level 3 was 1180 times 5, and now you see on the screen it's 1570 times 5. So a massive damage increase. I was messing around with this a bit on stream yesterday, and it actually seems like a super viable large scale and even small scale skill now. The super armor while charging is beautiful. Make sure you get it all the way charged up. It is kind of risky if someone's near you, getting grabbed out of this animation. It's always possible, but if you're able to get this attack off successfully now, the damage is amazing. There's a couple little changes to Full Bloom, which is going to help with PvE as well as comboing. The first thing they did was remove the monster knockback effect on Full Bloom, so that way, you're in Ackman, you're at Monchums, wherever it might be, you won't be knocking the mobs back with Full Bloom anymore. And then something they also did is made comboing Full Bloom into Luthergrons a little bit better. So you can go Shift E into Shift R and B, and you can see it does get rid of a bit of the wind-up animation. It's still not the fastest cancel and not my favorite combo, but it is something that you could pull out every once in a while. So they also added 2 different ways that you can combo into Guiding Light now. One is hitting L and B after the second hit of Glissade, and the other is after Luthergron's Call, you can hit L and B, R and B, or F. I'll show you these right now. First hit, second hit, then you just L and B, and you'll get the flow. The other one, Luthergron's Call, into L and B, again, getting the flow right there. Next up, we have Spear Sylvia. They changed the stun effect to a bound effect. This is going to be nice for PvE, getting the mobs on the ground and getting that down attack damage. They also changed the critical hit rate on Spear Sylvia. Before at max rank, it was only 50%, now it's 80%. Continuing the theme of just having insane critical rates on all of Archer skills, which makes it really good for grinding and incredible burst for PvP. Something that's in the patch notes but not on the test server, they said Righteous Fire, the mana drain, was changed into a negative 10% move speed debuff for 5 seconds. Again, it's not on the global server yet, but hopefully it gets added soon. Alright guys, that pretty much covers all of the buffs that were added to Archer on the global server. Again, hopefully they make it to live. I doubt they all will, but oh my goodness, I really hope they do. Next up, we're going to talk about the Black Spirit Rage skills that were recently added. The 50% is going to be on Ultimate Zephyr Leap, the 25% on Righteous Smite, and the 10% is on Full Bloom. First up, we're going to go over Zephyr Leap. This actually changes the skill into a 3-hit combo. The first hit is a stiff, and the third one will be a float, and it's actually a blink or an iframe when you're disappeared. So it's going to look like this. You're going to do shift back and hold R and B at the same time. Here we go. So as you can see, it's a stiff off the bat, followed by the blink backwards and the float from range. Very interesting skill. It's a very cool tool that they added another iframe, and I'm excited to see how this actually plays out in PvP. Next up, we're going to talk about Righteous Smite. Righteous Smite is going to consume 25% Black Spirit Rage. It's going to give you an extra 6 hits. It's going to improve the attack range and the projectile speed. So I haven't learned how to use this from the hotbar. I'm still not sure if you can use the Black Spirit Rage directly from the hotbar, but this is what it looks like when you combo into it. essentially fires 2 arrows instead of 1. Very, very cool skill. Incredible damage. Again, this is another skill I tested on my stream last night, and people were very, very impressed. The last skill we're going to talk about is the Full Bloom. This is going to be your 10% Black Spirit Rage. Looks like it gives 2 extra hits, increased arrow hit damage, and the attack range is up. So it's going to look like this. It's 1 shot instead of 2 that you normally get with the Full Bloom. So it kind of front loads the damage all into 1 attack. We'll do it one more time. Again. Seems like the knockback on PvE is back with the Black Spirit Rage. So it's not going to be great for PvE. But I think if you just need to front load your damage, you know, you're going for that shotgun effect when you have someone downed in front of you. The 10% Black Spirit Rage is going to put out a tremendous amount of damage. We're going to pop off Righteous Smite one more time because we have Black Spirit for it, just so you guys can see it. As you can hear, he fires off 2 arrows, connect at the same time, and it does an incredible amount of damage. Alright guys, that's going to do it for today's video. I hope you guys are as excited for the buffs as I am. The Black Spirit Rage skills look very promising as well. If you guys have any comments or questions about the Archer, feel free to leave them below, as well as what kind of videos you guys would like to see going forward as far as Archer videos, PvP, PvE, skill builds. Let me know what you guys want to see. Alright, leave it down below. I love you guys. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. We're able to take away some information. And until next time, I'm out. Peace.